The GoreCast is brought to you by American Horrors, the greatest uncut horror channel in the world. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all horror. As well as the station of decapitation without your head.
America's longest running horror channel, www.withoutyourhead.com.
The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
What's up, GoreCasters, and welcome back here to the GoreCast with me, Johnny Deadly, and my highly stressed out friend, and well, not just highly, equally stressed out friend. It's, as you can tell by the slight delay, there was some kerfuffles. Thank you, Skype.
Slight.
Not pointing fingers at anybody. Skype, you specifically, with the weirdness of the...
I'm pointing sharp objects at
turn
it.
down my mics, you goddamn... Anyway. We were supposed to go out at a slightly later time tonight anyway, because I had a hectic editing schedule, putting myself and Giz on a lovely beach. So we're just at a slightly later time than even the slightly later time was advertised. Is basically what's going on there.
Yep.
We have Katie McNeil in the crew. What's going on? How are you? Hello.
Hello.
I'm going to let you jibber jabber on there for a moment, Gizzles. As
Couple of interesting bits of news, especially for me. Well, the one that I'm going to start off with is
what one are you starting off
me
with?
up. Well, it seems that there's going to be another remake of Battlestar Galactica. It's going to be done by where is it? Here we go. It's being done by... No, I had it. Here we are. Yeah, Michael Leslie will create, write, and executive produce the series, as reported by Deadline. It's set to be going out on NBC Universal's new streaming service, Peacock. Now, Leslie says, I am beyond excited to be taking on this iconic and inspirational show. As a lifelong devotee, I know the possibilities of Battlestar Galactica's world are infinite, and each iteration has raised the bar for epic and intelligent sci-fi storytelling. The teams at Esmalcore, UCP, and Peacock are second to none, and I already know that we are going to honour Glenn A. Larson and Ronald D. Moore's landmark series and break new boundaries with our own vision. It's a dream come true, one I just can't wait to share with fans, new and old alike, so say we all. So this is a brand new series following on. The original series came out in 1978. The remake series was actually 16 years old. That's disturbing. It makes me feel terribly old. Came out in 2004, like I said. But yeah,
you've been having a real, I feel, really
definitely
old
the remake
week.
Well, it's the story of my life, really, to be perfectly honest, because, stuff comes out because at the end of the day, as we keep saying, new stuff tends to be shite and people keep digging into the bag of old stuff because they don't seem to have imaginations and come up with any kind of original thoughts. It's all a case of, well, what used to work really good? Let's dig up this old thing. Okay. And if we're really, 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 really lucky, when they do dig it up, they manage to do a good job rather than piss all over it and give us a bunch of shitty fucking live-action Transformers movies.
Got Roddy P up in the chat as well. What up, Roddy P? What's going on? If you're looking for some, very nice old school grindhousey style movie reviews and things like that, maybe you should go over to Roddy Peach Productions. He also does some fine work in the line of reviewing stuff. No.
Yeah. Anyway, So, like I said, new Battlestar Galactica series coming out.
Your audio's gone. Gizzles. Yep, new Battlestar Galactica is and your audio's back.
Oh,
yep.
Did that fix it?
New Battlestar Galactica series. I can't say that I'm excited because I never watched Battlestar Galactica, so it's a lack of excitement from a lack of knowledge of the previous. I'm aware of its existence, but
the 78 series was a cult classic,
I saw
which
some
got
of it, but I would have been
2 seasons.
Very, very young.
Yeah, they did. There's the 1978 series, and it was Battlestar Galactica in 1980, which most people deliberately erased from their brains, including the creators of the show. The 2004 remake of the series took what was a cult classic series, a cult sci-fi classic series in the vein of like fucking Buck Rogers and Lost in Space, those kind of shows, and took it to the, how can I put this, space opera level that you would get in some of the most complex anime shows, except
Roddy said
in live
he's
action.
not sure how they can improve over the last remake from Sci-Fi. I am, however, intrigued.
Like I said, that was the one that basically brought it to epic space opera proportions, which delved into various different philosophical concepts, generally regarding the concept of man, where we came from, and where we're going, basically.
Okay. Right, so Battlestar Galactica aside, what else do you have up in the news list for me?
Well, apparently, Deadpool creator Rob Liefeld also created characters for Image Comics back
for nothing. You have me very intrigued just with that first sentence alone.
No. Cool, can I finish it?
No, I'm only joking, you can finish it.
Okay, so like I was saying, Deadpool creator Rob Liefeld back in the day also created characters for Image Comics, one of them being Prophet, and it turns out he's going to be getting his own movie. In the early 90s, character John Prophet is headed to the screen. Early 90s Image comic character John Prophet is headed to the screen. The upcoming Prophet feature film is being penned by Mark Guggenheim. Deadline reports that Studio 8 is looking to build a franchise.
Yep.
Mark Guggenheim. Deadline reports that Studio 8 is looking to build a franchise around the character. The site describes Prophet as a DNA-enhanced super soldier placed into a cryogenic freeze for a future mission, only to awaken prematurely in the present, searching for a mission that does not exist. The ruthless berserker must find his humanity.
Searching in the present for
kind of
a mission that doesn't exist.
Basically, what I'm getting is that once upon a time, someone decided to make Captain America for a war that was going to be happening down the lines. Except something went a little bit wrong. He gets broken up way, way, way too soon. His future war hasn't happened, and so instead he becomes all crazy. The site also notes that John Prophet is expected to be part of the What?
You're going to have to share with the class, kids.
The site also notes that John Prophet is expected to be part of the X-Force franchise launch that Drew Goddard is writing to direct. That doesn't make sense. X-Force is a Marvel thing.
Yeah, I was wondering that.
That's why I literally stopped as I was talking.
That's why I literally went, you're going to have to share with the class, because I just heard X-Force mentioned, and I was like, that's wrong. Does he cross over at any stage?
Well, look, in any case, anything's possible. I mean, there was Image and Marvel crossovers, I think. Maybe was there?
Yeah. That's an interesting question, to say the least.
Sorry, I was racking my brain there. It's usually independent comics crossing with each other, like Dark Horse and Image would do something, maybe.
Or Marvel and DC just crossing over together. We don't talk about that, though.
Well, those would be the two. Those would be the two main ones. So But anyway, yeah. So clearly, comic book movies are going to be continuing on. Hopefully, better than Bloodshot. Well, Bloodshot was no. It was exactly what you would expect from a Vin Diesel comic book movie. It actually wasn't, because I was concerned.
Lacking in serious amounts of. We did a Bloodshot review a couple of weeks ago, but
your expectations and mine were clearly different.
I don't know. Upon a second rewatch, my opinions didn't change. I just felt it lacked full insight and direction. I know it's still like the opening movie and it's about kind of setting up the thing and everything, but it did feel like lacking. I couldn't get into it. I don't know. How do you think
I felt at the time? I mean, even at the time, I was saying that it was just a rehash of the Weapon X storyline, basically. Anyway, sticking in the vein of comics and comic book movies, Charlize Theron is set to play an immortal. Is it Bounty Hunter?
Yeah.
Mercenary. Yeah, mercenary in the upcoming Netflix show, The Old Guard, which is set to be released this summer, actually, July 10th. She is set to star as the warrior named Andy, leader of a covert group of tight-knit mercenaries with a mysterious inability to die, who have fought to protect the mortal world for centuries.
There we go. It's actually Charlize Theron photo acquired. Just in case people don't know what she looks like. I'm pretty sure everyone knows what she looks like.
Okay. Anyway, so basically because they're immortal, they end up doing various different jobs. One of the jobs, it turns out, is going up against a crew who are looking to basically weaponize find out what makes them immortal and weaponize it for themselves. So the film itself it's said to be a gritty, ground action-packed story that shows living forever is harder than it looks, which I have said numerous occasions. It takes
a lot of balls to live forever.
And, a bit of imagination.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you get bored.
Well, yeah. You would, yeah.
That's the biggest issue with immortality would be the goddamned boredom, which is why so many immortals turn into
like
just
Anne Rice novels,
bastards.
Like Lestat ended up just burying himself for 100 years just out of sheer, I have nothing to do. Yeah, I'm going to take a 100-year dirt nap, and hopefully shit's kind of kicked up to another level by the time I go dig out. You know, that kind of thing.
Maybe. It didn't, though. Well, it
did in the Vampire Lestat one. The one that the Queen of the Damned movie is actually based on. Even though they call it the Queen of the Damned.
Yeah.
Although it's not really based on either of them. They just kind of fuck-mashed the two of them together. Yeah. I did like Stuart Townsend as Lestat, though. Actually, there's a fucking movie review night that we should do. Queen of the... Well, no, not just Queen of the Damned. Do...
Vampire or
and Queen of the Damned. I feel like Interview with a Vampire, there's so much in it, you could probably get like 2 segments out of it, maybe. If we got into the books and things like that. Yeah. Look, that's something we can discuss at a later date. I'm just going to say hi, Cinema Reaper. Thanks for joining again.
Netflix is...
Hello.
It seems Netflix is sticking with the trend of foreign zombie series, and this time the show... Is it a show or a film? Anyway, Betal brings centuries-old dead back to life.
I don't have an image for this because I didn't see it until now. Sorry.
Creative team behind...
I'm aware that you sent it, but whatever way I looked at the things, I ended up moving straight onto Charlize Theron and your... Oh, no, wait, maybe I do have it.
Anyway, the new zombie series Betal is centered around Indian folklore and is featuring an all-star local cast. Blumhouse Television comes together with SK Global Entertainment and Rachel Childs Entertainment to present the Hour thriller series. Oh, so it is a show. Okay. The story is set in a remote village, which quickly becomes the arena of a breathless battle when 2-century-old East India Company... when a 2-century-old East India Company colonel infected with the Betal's curse and his battalion of bloodthirsty zombie redcoats are released from their tomb. Oh, schnit, someone unlocked a zombie army. Attacking anything with a pulse.
Everyone in the chat, don't forget to drop a like and a share if you feel like any of your friends happen to be interested in watching 2 crazy Irish lads talk about some horror movies. Always good. You're going to get some weird opinions anyway.
So, this looks to be debuting on May the 24th. There is a trailer. There's a trailer up online. It's kind of like a cross between. No, that's just them saying the exact same thing that I was saying. Basically, someone commenting on the fact that with Kingdom coming out, clearly Netflix is jumping into the zombie making business.
People like zombies.
It's, as long as
people like zombies
approaches each time.
People very much enjoyed Kingdom. You have the new Train to Busan movie coming out. Well, Peninsula, if you want to look. People like foreign zombie movies. Yeah. They do the zombie genre in a kind of a different. They always give you a different kind of view and a different take on it to the way that you're used to seeing it in conventional Western cinema. That'd be the easiest way of putting it.
I like the fact that this one. Yeah. I like the fact that this one is based on like Indian folklore, so it means that the rules that we think are there may not necessarily apply. Much like when you were watching Kingdom, the rules for those zombies weren't exactly what you might have expected.
No. Especially considering they set one set of rules only to find out in season 2 that it's just the lads didn't know what they were on about at the time.
I completely. This isn't a period. Oh my word! This isn't a period piece like Kingdom. This is contemporary, so it's actually an army from as years ago.
Oh wow!
This is going to be cool.
That does sound cool.
That's going to be fun. That does sound really, really fun. Okay, I guess might as well move on to the last story I have up, which I'm going to admit
you definitely didn't.
I'm not sure if I sent on to you or not. I think I did. Sugar! I knew there was a tab. One of the tabs on my tablet was empty, and I thought,
how many
I must
fucking
have
news
hit
stories
extra
did you
tab
send
by
me?
a mistake. But no, it should have been 4. I thought I sent 4.
Okay, right. Okay, yeah, I just missed. Yeah, you sent 4. Yeah, sorry, I did miss the one from Netflix.
Okay, fair enough. Okay. Anyway, so Silence of the Lambs fans should be very, very happy to know that apparently CBS has recently ordered a pilot episode for a potential Silence of the Lambs sequel series called.
I saw a bit. I saw some notices about this.
Yeah, apparently Rebecca Breeds will star as Clarice Starling, with the cast also set to include Carol Penn, Nick Sados, and Michael Culdis. The show itself is set in 1993, a year after the events of Silence of the Lambs, and it's going to be a deep dive into the untold personal story of Clarice Starling as she returns to the field to pursue serial murderers and sexual predators while navigating the high-stakes political world of Washington, D.C.
I must say.
Yeah. It's no, the rest of it's just a little bit of a blurb detailing what Clarice is like for those of you that haven't seen the film Silence of the Lambs and aren't familiar with the character or haven't read the books or seen any of the other material got to do with it. So apparently this show sets to explore her complex psychological makeup, which comes from a challenging childhood, and her drive, which comes from her need to escape the burden of family secrets that have haunted her throughout her life. So yeah, this could be an interesting companion maybe for the Silence of the Lambs series that briefly ran, which may or may not be coming back. I can't remember if they were able to get a kind of a reboot on that or not.
I think they did, didn't they?
I can't remember. There was talk of them getting, because it got like 3 seasons or something, didn't it? And then it got cancelled.
I believe so, but I thought it had got. I could have been mixing it up with something else. I thought it had got re-picked up or something.
Yeah, so did I. We might. It probably did. Maybe that's if we're both remembering it, then it either happened or we both shared the same acid
Literally
tab.
could be one or the other.
Yeah, but anyway, like I said, it could be a cool companion series if that is getting picked back up, and if Clarice comes out, you could have, those 2 stories. That could be interesting. You'd be happy to know that's it for all the news that I have. So yeah,
I'm trying to sync your video and audio on the fly here. It's not going well. Roddy said, I would assume he's in talking about Kingdom, that the makeup and costumes I saw for that looked really good, which they were.
He's probably talking about Batal, because like I said, the trailer is up for it. There's a trailer up on YouTube.
I must double check that trailer because
possibly on that one.
I very much enjoyed Kingdom, so I very much want to see where Batal goes. It sounds right up my alley.
Especially if it's contemporary.
Yeah.
As opposed to being a period piece like we thought. Okay, so onto the movies, I guess.
Some movies. Okay, so I thought we would go first up because this is a weird one because I enjoyed while also not enjoyed this movie. I thought we'd start off with Human Zoo. And kind of go in a transcendence.
The thing is, Human Zoo had a... Yeah, I get what you mean. Human Zoo had a really good idea, but the problem was that the film ran too long. And there was no progression of the idea, despite the fact that everyone in it did a goddamned brilliant job. And that's really weird.
Like how I described this to Giz, because I'd seen it before him, was that I was like, it's really an okay movie that's held up by some exemplary performances by literally everybody in it.
Everyone in it.
So anyway, the premise of Human Zoo, while I try to pull up a freaking poster here, because I thought I had them downloaded, but I don't. The whole premise of Human Zoo is that we start off at a casting call for a new reality TV show called Solitary Confinement. Solitary is the name of the show, yeah. So essentially they're going to take 12 participants, lock them in solitary confinement.
Well, that's actually one of the interesting things. We're never told how many people are actually in it, and neither are the contestants. They're just told there will be other people. So there's some really...
The 12 contestants,
like
I'm working with the fact that there's 12 contestants that get into featured. And it prominently shows those 12 contestants. So I'm talking about the knowledge of from where the 12 contestants are. So they show up to this casting call. There's a big room full of people. There's which this is one of my slight gripes with the movie, is there's this weird psychopath kind of guy that shows up at the casting call that I felt there was going to be more with him, but no, he just got sick of his shit not being respected and just kind of told them all to go fuck off, and then he actually fucked off.
I think the reason for that is I think there's actually a lot of in-jokes with this film in regards to the reality TV show process and the kind of people that go in for these things.
I agree with you on that.
And I feel he is meant to kind of, because I'm sure they get him, people that come in and kind of like try to do what they can to be as off the wall as possible to try and get themselves in, and then halfway through it realize, what the actual frack am I doing? I'm better than this. Screw this for a tub of spin. I should be elsewhere. You know? That's the way that I viewed him. You know, it's kind of like, I'm going to do what's crazy, off the wall, and then eventually, this is pointless. Why am I even bothering? And I'm sure there's a couple other things whereby I feel it was they were meant to be in jokes from that regard, in regards, you know, taking a look at the reality TV show process, the people behind it, the people that do it, that would actually put themselves up for this kind of stuff.
I know, I would agree with you. There is a lot of kind of piss taking on the general cast and crew that they try to get in for these kind of style of shows. The attitudes that people display, the overconfidence on some people's behalves, because there was a lot of people like, I'm going to nail this to the goddamn wall, and then not even day one, and they're like, yeah.
And here's the thing, here's what really gets me, right? This film has got such a really good start, and it actually does, and it's because it's because the people go in there, and each one of them is, like I said, it's almost like they're doing the archetypical of what you'd expect someone, you know, each different personality type that you would expect to go for something like this. And even I thought Heather Dorff was brilliant, because when they're asking what people would do with the money, and she just turns around, and in my head the whole time they're asking people what they do with the money, and in my head I'm kind of going, well, I would do this. And Dorff turns around, she goes, oh, I'd do this. And it's the exact same thing that I was thinking. And her reasoning is because, you know, I'm not a dumbass, and I'm not going to go along and buy a pink car or something like that.
I actually have to say, things like, she really stood out for me out of the kind of the 12. Like, she really, her progression through mental anguish and descent as the movie goes on, I thought was really on point and moving at points.
Herself. There's a couple of them in there, and I feel that what they probably did was to just go, okay, how would they might have even been told to do this? How would I legitimately react in this situation?
I feel they were kind of given the role they were to play, and then you just take it from there.
Yeah, or even not even given the role that they're to play, more of given the situation that they're in and told, if you want, play it as yourself. If you were in that situation, how you think you would do it, how you think you would react.
I would definitely agree with there's a couple for some people.
There's a couple of, and it depends on, there's a couple of times whereby, you know, there's certain reactions, and it's strange because you almost get the sense that it's a genuine reaction, you know, and that maybe they were kind of like, I'm just going to get it, like if you were LARPing, I'm just going to get into the feel of this and just go with the flow of it. So you get at times some very intense reactions
is one
from
way
people,
of putting it, yeah.
And at times you get the kind of older guy, and this is getting back to the start, and this is once again why it's annoying that it went on so long and that detracts from the film. Each individual gives their reasons for why they're there, and some of the reasonings are very well thought out and very acceptable. The older guy, the way he kind of eventually admits to the camera that I'm here because, I'm getting older and I'm not quite ready to accept the fact that I'm older, so I want to challenge myself this one last time. And it's this kind of atypical alpha male characteristic, having to admit that he's not quite at the peak, but this is his last chance to prove it to himself. And then there's a couple other ones. There's the subtle one that maybe, I think that blonde one might be a single mother and she's doing it just so that she has money for her kid. It's the only thing that leaves you guessing.
I really like the kind of Pakistani Jamaican. I couldn't make out because his accent kind of wavered depending as the scene went on. The kind of the big bald guy. He looked Indian, but he sounded Jamaican sometimes when he was speaking.
Because he was putting it on. Because he's an entertainer.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah, I liked his.
Like he says at the start, "I will charm you. I'll charm you."
Yeah, I liked his attitude and the way he handled everything as things went on initially.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, this film has a good premise as far as I'm concerned, but just because something has a good premise doesn't mean you can stretch it into nearly an hour and a half, 2 hours long worth of a movie.
The main issue with the movie is that once you get into the why won't the word come to my brain?
Cells.
No, it wasn't cells. I was looking for it into the what's it called when you get put in that prison? Solitary confinement. Once you get into the whole solitary confinement side of things, it's really, really good and interesting for about 40 minutes. But once, like at the 40-minute mark, everyone's kind of hit their breaking point. Some people have hit it before it. Some people do hit it a little bit after it. But the bulk of the people in there have hit their breaking point at this stage, and it just kind of keeps going on with their breaking point. And
I'll be honest. I was going to say I was happy to go up as far as the hour just because of the variance and because.
I mean the 40-minute mark from when they get into solitary. I don't mean literally. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that would actually be about an hour because it's 25
You're about
minutes.
25-30 minutes.
Like
you're 25 minutes before they get into the whole process of getting into solitary. Then there's kind of like a 5 or 10 minute montage of all the guys and girls where they get bagged over the heads. They get brought into the shower room. They have to strip down, have a shower in front of these two assuming security dudes. Highly pervy security guards. I liked how Jessica Cameron's character handled it. She was just like, fuck it. You want some titties? I'll give you some titties. I don't mind.
Not really, but dinner first.
She was really good. The major issue with the movie was there's...
And Heather Dorff's complete and utter fucking
what I liked about both of their characters' way of handling it was they're both kind of very acceptable ways. Like Heather Dorff was very much, don't you fuck with me, motherfucker, I'm gonna bash your fucking skull in. And then you had Jessica Cameron who's like, I'm not even gonna give them the gratis of seeing me have a freak out. And she's just like, all right, you big burly lads, how are we getting on? Oh, gonna have a shower, are we? Okie dokie. You know what I mean? I thought it was really good. As I said, the major issue with this movie is you get to a certain stage that, outstanding performances or not, you just start to see a lot of the same stuff over and over again because there's only so much you can freak out once you hit, especially with one or two of those ladies, when you hit the pinnacle of it.
Now, the thing is, from a certain point of view, I can see how that may have been the point. If you're supposed to be showing your audience if you're supposed to be showing them how monotonous it becomes to be in a situation like that, then I can understand, why it would go on for that. But the problem is, it's all well and good to have this, and it can be interesting, but when you don't have anything else except this, God, I mean, like there's a reason why certain stories work in short form in regards like
it's literally
Twilight
an hour.
Zone, Outer
It's
Limits,
literally an
things
hour
like
solid
that.
of.
Acceptable.
Well, I'd go above
Really?
acceptable. Like I really enjoyed the performances of people. It was just, if you'd let me finish the sentence, I was going to say, it's once you get into those cells, it's literally an hour solid of top down security GoPro camera style footage, bar the odd one or two moments in cells with people where the camera's obviously supposed to be kind of like that floating third person that's in the room with them. Like the camera comes down off the wall and it's kind of closer to them and things like that. But
yeah, I think that was just different perspective on certain shots. But yeah,
that's what I mean. Well, I'm saying different perspective. I'm not saying it was an internal monologue. What I'm saying is that it wasn't the security camera footage and there's nobody in the cell with them. So it's just a different angle cam for us just to break up the shots a little bit. This was a really hard movie to call because, like, I won't lie to you, I actually quite enjoyed it up until I got to what we will call the ending, which wasn't really an ending in my opinion. I get what I won't ruin it for you because there is a message to be put through with the ending, but it just was very anticlimactic and it didn't really finish off.
There's no resolve.
And you never find out anything. Now, I know sometimes that's the point, that you're not supposed to properly know what's going on. But it was just quite a confusing... It was quite a confusing ending. And there was no full-blown resolution to... Like, I mean, to be honest, one character, there was an actual resolution to the whole story. Everybody else is still alive and kicking, to the best of my knowledge.
But like I said, this is why anything outside of the cells, just to show even what the producer is doing, what the people watching it are doing, because it looked for a second like maybe there was going to be something with the producer.
I actually thought
really.
that the psycho guy went psycho and came back and got rid of the actual production team, and this was him torturing people because
everybody?
Like the bar one odd line that everybody fell for, hook, line, and sinker, which, as I said to you, I would have been like, that doesn't happen. I think I'm just going to go home, actually.
Except that it does. It has. We have seen it happen.
Not with a reality TV show.
That, once again, I mean, this is what I'm saying about so many in-jokes. That, once again, goes to prove that, like, we've gotten to the stage whereby it is hype that gets things its next run, not actually how good it is. I don't disagree
with that. It's just... look, anyway, that aside, the other bit that kind of confused me a little bit was that the director or the producer of the show is actually a well-known producer in the storyline of this movie. Like, people came to the casting call because this is this guy's next project.
Once again, that can be kind of at the end of the day, 100 people turn up. You're going to be casting 10. How many of those 100 are really going to be missed once you do your homework?
I don't disagree with that either. I was just a bit confused. Like, you're never fully clarified by the end of the movie. Is this actually a TV show? Because there's a very good chance that it's not a TV show by the behavior, and you know what I mean?
Yeah. Or it could be a private TV show.
Yeah.
Whereby you pay a subscription to see these poor bastards rot away in a cell.
I kind of got the impression that that's what it was. It's kind of that voyeuristic, really long, drawn-out snuff movie kind of thing.
Yeah, honestly, it's the only thing that made sense for me in regards to the reasoning behind it. But like I said, it would, like, one way or the other, any kind of scene outside of the cells, even 5 minutes worth of exposition or something, even less, would be enough to just fill in the blank there. Perhaps that's the point. Maybe we're supposed to be left wondering. Maybe we're supposed to come up with these notions and kind of go, well, you know, like, maybe this is the kind of thing that does
I'll put it to you
happen.
This way. In the defense of the decision, not that I agree with the decision myself, but you and I have been literally talking about this movie explicitly since today when you got to see it as well. So it has worked to a certain degree, I suppose.
Plus, more importantly, and I didn't realize it until after we watched it, but there's a bit of a running theme for tonight's movies, and it proves that that one little plot hook of if you appear to be famous and if you can make other people famous, then it doesn't matter if it doesn't matter if a few people go missing, because people go missing all the time. I know what you did there.
Stop talking, because that was an awesome segue. Okay, we're going to hit the trailer for. Actually, I'll just pull up the info here for it really quick, just so I can let you know when it's. No, I'll put it up and I'll give you the info after the trailer. Okay, so we're going to, as I said, you're kind of missing an ending, as myself and Giz discussed, but yet again, I don't disagree with you. That might be the whole point. You know.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's like I said, it's a difficult one because it is an interesting premise. It is an interesting idea. It is very well acted by everybody.
There's really good performances by literally everybody in it.
I think it's just because there are so many questions left by the end of it that it leaves too much of an open. You know, it's there needs to be some kind of a focus in regards
to give people
where
a
the story
wee
is
nugget
going.
of something that they can start to draw conclusions from.
Yeah, because otherwise, like an hour and a half, 2 hours is just too long to be sitting there kind of going, okay.
Yeah, so all in all,
entertaining
movie for the best part. Really standout performances by, as I said, literally everybody in there. I literally can't think of anybody that didn't impress while they were in the cells. It's just...
I really liked the cute crazy cat lady.
She was crazy before she went in.
Yeah, you could smell it on her. It was great.
Yeah, it's just a movie that just has some pacing issues, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
And anyway, you're going to get some. You're going to get
direction.
Yes, you're going to get some fine examples of these exemplary standout performances by everyone that we mentioned, and we'll be back after this with Cry for Havoc.
Just look here.
Either at the camera or you can look at me if you'd like.
All right.
Welcome, cast. I'm Hillard May, the creator and producer of Solitary Confinement. Now, the whole idea of this show is to test your will to go on. You will be filmed 24/7, so everything you do and say will be seen. You will not be freed unless you quit.
It's just a game. It's just a game.
It's not a game.
You're killing me! I don't think Let me
And we're back. So that was the trailer for Human Zoo. It's available.
Human Zoo.
It's out on digital and DVD purchase already since May 5th. I would, if you enjoy good acting, I would very much recommend it.
Yeah,
as I said, this was a weird one to call for me because it was like I enjoyed it. It's one of those weird situations where an odd ending can actually throw off your opinion on something.
Yeah, and like I said, I think for me it's just because there is a lack of direction after a certain point, and as a result, you know, without some kind of tether, without some kind of way for us to know what the story is supposed to be, where it's supposed to be going, how it's supposed to be going, it's difficult to kind of say, well, this is what was happening. And like I said, that could partially be the point of it, to be fair. To actually
there's
have
a very good chance it is the point
these people not having a clue. Yeah, because all the people in there, they don't have a clue what just happened to them.
Yeah.
You know, they have no idea why they're there, how long they're going to be there, I mean, it was supposed to be one thing, it turned out to be something else.
Yeah. Like as I said, it's an odd one. I would recommend it. Yeah. Just be braced for probably the same as myself and kids. Be braced to be left slightly angry at the end of it, where you're like, I need answers. What the fuck is going on? I literally had like a flashback to Lost with the ending of it, where it was just like, it's 5,000 questions and no fucking answers, which is actually, but
that was your own fault for watching more than this. That was your own fault for watching more than a season of it. The rest of us bailed out quick.
I'm a glutton for punishment. But then again, that whole reaction where I got so crazy there, maybe that's the point. That might be the point, because I was literally batshit fucking crazy when that ending happened.
Ben?
Yeah, maybe that was, yeah, fuck.
Huh?
Yeah, maybe, huh.
Anyway, onto something a little bit more easy to figure out what the point is, because the point is God's damned glorious
Do you
violence.
Motherfuckers like slasher movies? Because this is the slasher movie that you want to be watching, because it's freaking awesome, and it's got Robert Bronzi in it, who, if you haven't seen if you're unaware of what a Robert... Stop it. Let me finish. If you're unaware of what a Robert Bronzi...
I was going to do something good.
Go on.
This movie answers the age-old question you never knew you wanted to be answered. Who would win between Charlie Bronson and a Jason Voorhees-style character?
No one.
We won.
Yes, I was going to say, if you're unaware of what a Robert Bronzi is, he's 2020's literal identical clone of Charles Bronson.
It's terrifyingly accurate, and they play it up.
Pam couldn't recollect when I was talking to her earlier. She had the same issue that I had when you were talking to me about Charles Bronson, because both of us are big not like we're fans of criminals, but we like the Bronson movie and things like that.
Yeah.
So she was like, the criminal? I was like, no, your man. He was in like what's that? Death Wish. And what was the Denzel Washington movie? Equalizer. He did Equalizer and all that kind of thing. And she's like, oh, okay. And then she looked him up while we were watching the movie, and she's like, what the okay, I might have got my movies mixed up, but she looked him up on Google while we were watching the movie. She's like, what the fuck? And I was like, yeah, not even the same dude. Not even from the same country, to the best of my knowledge.
It's ridiculous.
It's crazy. And just to let you know, it's not like surgically enhanced so he looks like Charles Bronson or anything. This guy just is the absolute skunk of Charles Bronson. It's weird how much he looks like this guy.
And they lean into it so well by just his mannerisms, the way he moves, the character he portrays is a Charles Bronson character. Now, it's fucking
drooling
brilliant.
Over Bronzi aside, one of the things that anyone who's a big fan of 80s slashers would tell you, what is usually a mandatory, which has kind of disappeared in more recent times, what used to be quite a mandatory component of the 80s slasher movie was a gaggle of tatties up in that movie, covered in blood. Within 10 minutes of this, you've already seen 6 absolutely blood-soaked tatties. And I was like, well, if you wanted to set the slasher movie tone good, hard, and fast, you have done it, sir. Do you know what I mean? Like, within 10 minutes of the movie, you've seen this crazy freaking Jason-like psycho, except that he's decided, instead of just wearing a hockey mask, I'm going to take my hockey mask looking thing, wrap it in goddamn a whole lot of barbed wire, just so that if you do try to mess me up, you're going to get your face ripped, or your hand ripped, or whatever the hell you're looking to do, ripped. And then you see him pull out this unmerciful blade that just looks like a massive saw blade.
Cleaver.
And he chases a lady. No, he pulls the lady's top off first. Sorry, I forgot about that. He pulls the lady's top off, and then he chases her through the woods, and she gets covered in blood. And then she gets covered in her own blood. And the titties get cut, and everything gets cut. And then you're like, okay, solid start to the movie. They're just trying to set the tone. And then he goes after another titty swinging lady. I was like, what in the hell is going on here? This is slasher. Except it's got Bronson in it.
Yeah. And it turns out like there's a good there's actually a decent story behind it too. And okay, and once again, and like I said, there's kind of a bit of a running theme. Once again, it seems attractive young women are lured in by the prospect of becoming movie stars.
I don't actually know if that's how it works with everybody. I know that's definitely how they lulled in Charles the Bronzi's daughter character.
The reporter states there's a conversation the reporter has with your man, and he actually basically says, we tell them we're going to turn them into movie stars. We tell them, we're going to make them famous. This is their breakout chance. We sell them their dream.
The girl in question that the main guy is hunting down to find is his estranged daughter, who he's after finding out was brought out here under the guise of, yet again, we're shooting some reality television and we need some fine-looking ladies to be in the reality TV show. Would you like to be in the reality TV show that we're making? And she's like, yes, please. That goes on. We meet a reporter quite early on who's getting brought out to the house of a character known as the Voyeur. He's is he number one, or is he just on the top 10 list for the FBI's most wanted?
I think he's actually at number one with the FBI. I think the whole point is that he was recently moved up after they kind of went, holy crap, have we seen what this guy's doing?
Yeah, I thought he was just murdering people. So, have you seen the way he's murdering people? Actually, he's not even murdering people. He's hiring fucking big goonaboon to...
Well, he didn't hire... he hired a bunch of people to make sure that that his acquisition, his asset, doesn't go wandering off the hunting grounds and accidentally, kill too many of the locals. My friend. But Emily Sweet plays a reporter who has been contacted and managed to swindle herself an interview with the Voyeur, despite the stringent security measures put in place by the Voyeur's very hard-nosed and hard-assed female lawyer who is awesome in it and has all kinds of hired goons
zero
and all the rest
given
of it.
by that lady.
And
well, actually, no, sorry, that's a bad
description.
It was great. Many fucks given by that lady because she does her job and she's hired to do a job well.
Yes. After a couple of unusual little kind of rules that Miss Sweet has to follow in order to get her interview, she finally does get to sit down with the Voyeur and ask a few questions. And over the course of the interview, you quickly realize, hey, pretty lady. Actually, even before she arrives, man, you're looking at it, going, hey, pretty lady, you're walking into a trap.
I won't lie to you. As the Voyeur was describing his process of getting a woman in to the into the death camp, I was kind of like, telling her, are you not picking up on what's happening here?
He was basically telling her exactly what he just did to her while he's doing it to her. It was great.
Pam said it to me at one stage when he was explaining the whole story to the journalist. She was like, "Why is she telling her? Why is he telling her all of this?" And I was like, "Oh, she's not making it out of there. He's telling her because she's never getting out of the gate. That story is going nowhere. That's not good. That's nothing but a thing. It's not happening. That story is like she has a tablet for taking notes and she has her phone for recording the audio, which she's not allowed to have anything. Now, if you want like an indication of how zero fucks he gives about the story going to the press afterwards, there you go. And then as the story goes on and he starts to ask her some questions, you realize that she is also part of the running team of ladies, that she hasn't been in contact with her parents and family in a long while.
It's a no-brainer. And like I said, it bloody well worked. It worked in the last film, more or less. But, yeah. And what's interesting is, to be fair, right, she does get some very disturbing answers that has her kind of going, but she keeps going with the questions. And I like how it was played by the lawyer. How much is your career worth to you? You're going to have to do all this stuff if you want to make yourself a star. And that's the whole crux. And he says it to her. He says it to her. We bring them out here under the auspice of making them stars.
I don't know. Investigative journalists, I think, should have slightly copped on as to what was happening, I think.
Maybe, but at that point she was already well down the rabbit hole and in the sparkling,
literally
glowy
down the rabbit
dress.
hole. She was dressed up like Alice, for Christ's sake.
That was great. The dress had a clapper. It was brilliant. Talk about fucking complete and utter narcissistic fucking awesomeness.
I have to say, this movie was just slasher movie heaven for anyone who likes a good slasher movie. Actually, Roddy's back in the chat. Yeah. Roddy, you need to see this movie, or you probably have seen this movie, knowing you. But if you haven't seen this movie, you need to see this movie specifically. Right. You're going to freaking love it.
But yeah, it's basically it's not long before the reporter finds out exactly what the situation is, because she's kind of left staked out for Havoc to have a bit of fun with. And I liked the backstory. Do you want to know what popped into my head when the voyeur was telling his backstory? All that popped into my head is, it's like if Dario Cueto had actually found Matanza in prison.
Yes. Do you know who that actor that plays the voyeur is?
I'm going to say
yes,
Richard
it is
Tyson.
Richard. No, I didn't mean like literally by name. Are you aware of any of his other works?
Oh,
he's the bad guy from Kindergarten Cop.
Nothing springing to mind.
Yes, he is.
No,
he's in
not.
Kindergarten Cop. I'm pretty sure he's the bad guy.
Oh my frack!
Yeah, it is him. And he's like a police detective in there was another movie. What was it? It's gone out of my head now.
You're right. Something else in the 80s.
He was the big mean bad guy in a lot of 80s movies.
Yeah. Holy crap, man. I completely missed that because No, I'm not going to dive into his filmography because
can you pull up while you're there? If it's in front of you, could you find out what the movie was where he was like the detective? Oh no, I remember now. Something about Mary. He's one of the detectives that come to do the interviews with something about Mary. It's very funny.
Well, I'm glad you figured that out because he was rather prolific in the 80s and 90s. So figuring that one out could have been a little bit difficult.
He played the bad guy though.
You were saying he was a cop, and there's a lot of these movie titles that are like fucking gumshoe sounding. The Moon Junction. China Beach. Oh, it was in China Beach. Okay, fair enough.
Moving on with the plot of the movie.
Getting back. Yeah, Cry Havoc soon sees the reporter running for her miserable, mortal, misbegotten life as she manages to get out of her binds when Havoc is distracted by his guards, who apparently sometimes wander into the field of his chopping range, and B, the plethora of women that are strung up and left gathered around so that he can do what he does, because that's basically the point. It's the voyeur has got cameras set up.
You realize that this guy, as much as he loves killing people, is actually in no rush to kill the people. He's quite happy to mount them up there for a while and be like, I'll get back to you in a little while. Or
sometimes get back to them, do a little bit of torture. Then
hack a bit,
rip
your top off. Ripping your top off seems to be a major plot point of his torture.
He's definitely a tit man, and I can't say I blame him. There are some nice ones on display in this movie.
I'd imagine it must have been in the casting call sheet.
Both of
them. Anyway, as you while this whole investigative journalist angle is happening, you're also seeing some slight flashes of the Charles Bronson looking character starting to make his way into this camp. He has a police badge. I actually thought, because the girl was acting so oblivious during the interview, I actually thought that she wasn't an investigative journalist, and I was like, she's some sort of... Yeah, I was like, she's some sort of undercover cop, and that's why Bronzi's coming in, because she's trying to get the distraction and get the info, and then Bronzi comes in. No, but it turned out she's just thick as shit investigative journalist. No offense to you, lady, and I'm not taking away from investigative journalists in general, but I feel if you're on that career path... actually, no, I don't feel. If you are on a criminal investigative journalist career path, there's a certain level of aptitude and
cop-onedness,
spidey sense, nearly, you need to...
Yeah,
you got to have your head in a fucking swivel, for lack of a better description. And swivelly heads were not displayed during any of this. But anyway...
Oh, they were, but not in the good way.
True, that's very true. Anyway, as I said, Bronzi's slowly making his way in and knocking off a couple of henchmen here and there is he's one to do. And then eventually,
unstoppable.
Speaking of unstoppable, there's a section I got to get to. What up, Buzz? How are you, sir? I got to get when we get near the end. It's the power of what clothing can do is amazing. But I'll explain in a while. But anyway, our investigative journalist gets herself loose. She pulls a top off of a tree, which I'd assume has been left from some other poor dead lady. She gets on the run. Bronzi meets her. Some shots are fired. Then she puts her hands up, at which point my theory was blown out of the fucking water, and I was like, God damn it, she's not a goddamn plant, she's just stupid. Okay, cool, never mind. That's fine. They meet up. Then you get this really cool, there's a motorbike that just shows up from somewhere. Bronzi gets on the motorbike.
No, it doesn't just show up from somewhere. It was part of the security crew. Do you remember there was the two boys on bikes?
I'm not trying to give away all of the cusps of the plot. I'm just trying to hop along Cassidy on some parts because the movie isn't out yet. So
right. Okay.
You get some real nice 80s slasher, nearly not Evil Dead, but more Evil Dead Army of Darkness style shots where she's covered in blood and he's on the big massive motorbike and she's holding an axe off the back of it and they're bombing it up the road and it all looks really cool.
It's ridiculous.
God damn amazing. It's great. Needless to say, as slasher movies go, and more people got to die, and some people you aren't expecting to die, and some people that you're expecting to die don't die. You realize slowly as you're going through that Bronzi's actually there, as I said, to find his daughter. Eventually the daughter is acquired, or located, should I say. Bronzi also runs into our massive beast of a killer who is known as Havoc. And this is the clothing section I wanted to get into. Bronzi, now don't get me wrong, he doesn't look like a wee gent when you see him, but he's wearing this kind of suit and vest combo kind of thing when he's there. He looks kind of Charles Bronson stature, and then he takes the jacket off and you're like, this dude's fucking jacked. I was like, this guy's fucking built like a brick fucking shithouse. I was like, what material is that jacket made out of that it held all of those guns? And I'm not talking about the bullet kind, I'm talking about these kind of guns, like literally, like thick is the word you could use. God damn, like Pam was even like, where did those fucking arms come from? I was like, I have no idea. I don't know how they got in that jacket, to be blatantly honest.
Yeah, it's good fun.
Yeah,
there's a good, decent soundtrack. Like I said, it answers the age-old question of what would happen if Charles Bronson went up against like Jason Voorhees. Basically,
fucking shit-kicking action. That's what will happen. It's great. I have to say, the way they shot this was brilliant. Like the little reveals of Bronzi. Like Bronzi was, they used Bronzi. I can't remember the actual character's name, so I just keep using the actor's name.
We don't get character names for anyone.
Okay, perfect.
Except Havoc
and the voyeur.
Okay, the voyeur. Wait, no. We get one for the lawyer, and maybe we get one for the report. No, we don't get one for the reporter. Okay. Actually.
Anyway, you get an indication of what a dangerous kind of dude Bronzi is by the way you see this big massive killer going around and doing all he's killing stuff, and Bronzi's popping up behind people in the exact same way the killer guy is, but he's doing it on the side of the law, obviously. The color grade on this was very reminiscent of Friday the 13th. There was this kind of really nice subdued kind of bluish tones to everything. This is a beautiful looking product from content to packaging. Would be the best way I could put it.
It's just definitely just fun.
Yeah,
fucking fun.
Yeah, fun. No, like, and in credit to it, there's a really good plot to it, but it's not so thick of a plot that it takes away from all of the action.
No, there's a bit of exposition. You get given details. They're believable details. They're acceptable details. And then it's on with the violent
100%.
fun.
And this movie, in keeping with the running theme as well, outside of the reality TV.
People get abducted.
Yeah, outside of the reality TV side of things, there is a bit of a open-ended ending to this as well. But I felt I got more of a little nugget to draw my conclusions from with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, there was more of a resolve.
The open end was just kind of like, oh, you could pick up a second movie literally from where this movie is picked up, or you draw your own conclusions. You know, I hope to do a second movie. Yeah. Like that Havoc guy could really, you get him another couple of really cool movies, man. He could really make it into Slasher Hall of Fame.
The dynamic between him and the voyeur, I liked, and I like where it could go.
I really do think there's really good slasher potential, or slasher Hall of Fame potential for this guy. Slasher franchise potential as well, but I really do think, you get another cool couple of movies under this guy's belt, and I could see him getting in the Slasher Hall of Fame because he's got the big burliness. He doesn't move slow like Michael Myers or anything. He has no problem covering distance when he needs to. And the nice assortment of weapons that he uses, and just the sadisticness of everything is really good. I have to say, I loved this movie. I enjoyed absolutely every second of this. It was great.
Yeah, really good fun.
Okay, so will we start moving into a trailer for this, I suppose? Or do you have any final thoughts that you would like to get into before we do?
No, I just it was just a fun film. Like I said, nice, decent pacing, really good violence, decent music, and who doesn't love blood-soaked
Katie,
tits?
I'll just address this just before I move off to the trailer because I saw the message. I do believe Pam may have passed out. I'm not 100% sure. I'm oh my god. Yeah, I'm not sure if she's in the chat because I saw Katie mention. Anyway, we're oh god, excuse me. We're going to go and hit the trailer for Cry Havoc, and then we will be back afterwards where we got some porno for you.
I want to congratulate you all for being chosen for Terror Mountain. It is the ultimate horror reality TV show.
Hey, do you know Mrs. Wallace?
No. If you want to interview my client, you will follow his instructions.
Whoever wins the show gets the $1 million cash prize.
He expects you to dress for the occasion.
Havoc is occupied.
His identity is shrouded in such mystery, he's only known to law enforcement agencies as the voyeur.
About a decade ago, I found myself in a prison cell.
What kind of a cop are you?
As soon as my lawyer got me out of prison, I went right back, bribed the warden to release prisoner under AYO 886 into my custody. Please, have a seat. I used to be afraid of death, but now, with Havoc, I control death.
Back now. And we're back. So that was the trailer for Cry Havoc. As full on, actually all movies have full on GoreCast set of approval. Tonight. Because I really did like Human Zoo. I really did like it. It was just the ending threw me askew a bit. But now that I've kind of thought it out a bit more, I'm kind of like, maybe that's what I was supposed to be feeling. I don't know. If a movie...
It's still ranked up there as a weird
if a movie's job is to have you talking about the movie afterwards, mission accomplished. Yeah, mission accomplished. Although I will say you and I could have a very, very... You and I could probably talk for another hour about Cry Havoc if it wasn't for the fact that I don't want to get into the... not if I didn't want to get into the plot ruining side of things. So Cry Havoc.
Plus we don't want me falling asleep.
And we don't want you falling asleep on camera, most importantly. Cry Havoc is also out since May 5th from midnight releasing. So if you do fancy a bit of VOD or buy some DVD, because some people still buy the DVDs or the Blu-ray and they mail it out to you. Midnight releasings. Go check it out. Now, as you can see in the screen between myself and Giz, we have Porno. Now, considering it's myself and Giz, it's probably not the Porno that you were expecting, but it is the Porno that you shall receive.
In this case, we're referring to a movie, a fantastic movie, brought to us by Fangoria.
And Shudder.
Which was awesome.
So it's obviously Fangoria made
Shudder.
it. Shudder distributed it. So if you haven't seen this, it's on Shudder already. You might as well go give it a gook, because it's bloody great.
Porno tells the story of 5 kids working in a cinema who stumbled across a demonically enhanced film, shall we say. This is really cool. I like the idea of a film reel actually being an invocation spell.
And the actual film on the reel looks like it's out of a goddamn Rob Zombie music video, or more specifically, Lords of Salem.
Yeah.
Well, actually, any kind of grindhouse, witchy tits kind of 60s schlock grindhousey kind of movie with witches. In keeping with all of that.
Yeah. Now, this film is set in the, I want to say, 86, 87.
It's literally 1992 is when it came out, because both movies that were very much... Yeah, because Encino Man is 92, and League of Their Own's 92 as well.
You're right.
So,
you're right.
Unlike a lot of movies where they just slap you in a decade, this is literally, we're in 1992.
Yeah. And of... This cinema is run by a religious nut who has all of the kids into his little cult of God worshippers, along with the projectionist, based on the notion that basically they're all trying to avoid temptation, in one way, shape, or form.
I don't know what it's called in America, but they're what would be known as the pioneers in Ireland.
Crazy?
No, not what?
What? Why would you call
pioneers are literally people that would take an oath on their confirmation or communion and swear not to have sex or drink or do any of that kind of thing outside of marriage. Or, well, not drink or do drugs or tobacco or tattoos or any of that, period, and no sex outside of marriage.
Pretty sure pioneers are explorers that take on new...
I am pretty sure that is also the mean...
That's the exact opposite of what you just described.
I am pretty sure pioneers are also called that, but from a man who I'm literally fucking... This isn't like I think it is. I know. I'm telling you. Pioneers are... Look it up. They didn't have an X on their hand. They wore a ring instead.
Okay, fair enough. Okay. Well, anyway, look, because of the craziness that has infected all of them, they are naturally a little bit leery and yet a little bit tempted by the idea of looking at this film that they had managed to find after a crazy person came into the fucking cinema once it was closed down and bust through a wall that they never even realized was there. Door was covered up.
So they all work in the cinema, and as is tradition on the Friday night at the cinema, once the cinema's closed up, they have a Friday night Friday night staff night. So
movie watching.
You all pick whatever movie you want to watch. You throw it on. Owner heads off and he does his business, and then he'll come back and he'll pick up Heavy Metal Jeff at 12 o'clock to drop Heavy Metal Jeff on.
It's not heavy metal, it's hardcore.
Yeah, okay. Heavy Metal Jeff. He comes back to pick him up at about 12. I'll pick you up at 12, and then everyone can bugger off and eat some popcorn and you do your shit. It is what the plan is supposed to be. But unfortunately, they go clean out the cinema, and there's just an old dude freaking out. Well, the movie opens up with a guy named Todd and his friend whose name eludes me. Yeah, Abe. Where there's there's a lady and a gent going at it, hardcore style, and they're having a bit of a peeping Tom moment through the window.
Yeah, and it kind of sets it up because it's the whole point is that every character has something that they're supposed to be like using God as a way to stay away from, because that always works out. So in the case of Todd and Abe, it's supposed to be they're perverts because they're like watching people have sex. More specifically,
as the story goes on, you realize that it's supposedly Todd who is the pervert because he unfortunately is the one who got nabbed by the popo.
Yeah, Yeah, but it's actually Abe is the one who kind of instigates things because he's actually the horny.
Oh, and how?
Yeah. You also have where's his name? Ricky, who went away mysteriously for the summer to camp, but has come back and is very much avoiding the advances of Chaz or Chastity, who is the only female working in the entire
also the only
place.
one with a set of balls on her.
And it's pretty much, which is commented at one point by her.
Yeah, understandably so.
Yeah, but like I said, after the crazy old guy does his mad fucking spree through the place, and after they try to chase him out, it doesn't quite go well, and he ends up going through a boarded up doorway that they didn't even know was there because it was hidden over by a tarp. They soon find that there's a level underneath the cinema, and there's storerooms with all these different cans of reels of film. They eventually, Abe actually eventually is drawn to one of them because there was a fire down there, so they're looking through to see if any of the stuff actually still works. Abe is drawn to this one, and they decide, let's give this a shot. Jeff reluctantly agrees because he's not too sure that they should be putting on anything that was found down there, but sure, we'll give it a spin. It doesn't take long to realize that this is a goddamn mistake because it turns out this is some form of weird art housey picture with a ridiculously hot chick getting naked in it. Wow.
You realize very
Fun
quickly,
times.
especially as just that segment of the movie goes on, that it's probably not an art housey picture, and it's actually in fact something else under the guise of an art housey picture.
Yeah, some form of demonic summoning ritual, for instance. It's awesome. Despite Jeff's efforts to stop things, Todd manages to get up and make sure that the film plays in its full. Chaz, Ricky, and Abe are mesmerized by what's on screen, and it isn't soon long after that they realize that things have started to go a little bit awry because there's some strange sounds starting to be heard. The keys that were in the door are gone; they are locked in, and
may the madness ensue.
People start seeing visions of the hot chick that was on the film. This quickly deteriorates into awesome, blood-filled comedy horror brilliance, with secrets being revealed in regards to
Secrets been revealed about literally everybody.
People are,
to be honest, some are bigger doozies than others, but everyone's got a little skeleton in the closet in this movie.
And it means that when it comes to dealing with the succubus, as we find out is what's been summoned, everyone has some form of temptation.
Although
that
she treats people very bad, she's more of a sucky bitch than a sucky bus. I'll tell you that straight out.
Yeah. This is definitely one of the hardcore. I don't care about my food supply.
I
ones.
prefer mashing up dinner and batting it around the table a little bit first.
Plus, to be fair, you also find out that she has an overall plan that isn't the usual plan, because normally it's kind of, shag the guy, use the essence, keep on living. This is more a case of bringing them to somewhere so that they can be eternally tormented. So, to be fair, different game plan.
All in all, we're going to try and keep. We'll probably start moving out of this now because we're already like 20 minutes over the hour, and it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Ordinarily, we will be back at 11:30. I'll do all of this afterwards. All in all, overall thoughts on the movie? Yeah,
this was fun. This was
it's a really good comedy horror, real dark, real fun.
You are, or maybe I was screaming at times at the idiocy of some of the characters, but it's like, well, they believe in like crap, and it's just.
I found it kind of endearing to a certain degree. I got a place in my heart for heavy metal, Jeff.
I was going to say that kind of backward ass mentality is the only way that some of the stuff would actually work in the
100%. It's common logic. If you were a big normal horror fan, you would have avoided the plague.
No, I meant in regards how they interact with each other, like the ridiculous fucking narrow-minded prejudices, and how that forces characters down avenues of temptation for the succubus.
Anyway, myself and the gays will fade into the trailer for Porno, and then we'll be back to say goodbye and drop a trailer for you, depending on what's on American Horrors when I check it during the ad break. Catch you in a second.
You guys hear that? The science of porn is well known. The human brain, when aroused by erotic images, dumps chemicals into the bloodstream which send the viewer into full throttle, give me more mode.
No, that's right, and we may think that we're just being curious, but that will turn into an obsession. Guys, when we watched that movie, we unleashed a sex demon. See, kids? That's why I don't watch porno.
And that's the trailer for Porno. As you can see in 90 seconds worth of footage there, well worth a watch. Highly entertaining. Highly recommended from the GoreCast. Totally worth it. Go watch it on Shudder.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
As I was saying before we're going into the trailer, customarily, we will be back next week at 11:30 as is per usual. I just crazy editing schedule and we had...
Today sucked.
Yeah, we had gear fuck around with us all day and... videos that were supposed to be shot yesterday or Friday didn't happen until today, and then everything got thrown off, and then next thing I know it's 7:30 before I even start watching the movies, and then it was supposed to be 12:30 when the show was going out, and then Skype, you son of a bitch. But that's all been resolved now. Anyway, as is customary, and I'm literally watching American Horrors right now, so I don't think our show went out at 2:30. I'd imagine it's going to be after the movie, because as you're probably aware, anytime we talk about the show coming on, it's supposed to be on at 2:30, but sometimes it's 3:30, depending on what movie is playing before us. But tonight on American Horrors, myself and Giz had a grievance that we felt we needed to address publicly, and partially nearly murdered one of our co-hosts on camera Thursday when we found his opinion on the movie. When Carter was like, "Yeah, I don't like it," and we were like, "You what?" Anyway, on tonight's episode of the GoreCast on American Horrors, 8:30 p.m. CST, which it's not going to be, and whatever that equates to is GMTs, which is whatever GMTs, because it'll probably be on soonish. Myself and the kids are going to be getting deep and dark into what in the flying fuck is everybody's problem with the Hellboy 2019 movie, because we just don't get it. And other than that,
no, we do get it.
Well, we actually quite well explain whatever. We get the movie, and I think we pretty much nailed on the balls what the fuck the problem everyone has with the movie as well is. But instead of me rattling on about it, we shot a really awesome trailer. So from myself and the Giz, we'll catch you on Thursday again when we are doing our group chat call, which I don't know exactly what we're doing yet. I will do a post up about it tomorrow when I talk to the lads and we figure it out. Buzz and Carter will be back Tuesday, where they're going to be doing original versus remake Tuesday. I don't rightly remember what they have on the cards, but it will be some... No, they did Hills of Voice. So it's... I can't remember what they have on the cards. Buzz actually is there, so if you could drop it in the chat, let everybody know. But other than that, myself and the Giz will catch you next week. We're going to leave you with a trailer. And other than that, my man, do you have any words you got to say?
No, that's I'm
okay. Well, from myself to the Giz. GoreCast out.
Bye.
Oh, that's the wrong trailer. We'll take 2. We'll just rewind there a second. Nobody saw anything. Oh, that worked out really well. Okay, so this Tuesday, Buzz and Carter for original versus remake Tuesdays are going to be doing The Fog, which I'm quite interested to see how that goes. Because that could be a good one. And other than that, do you have anything else you need to say before you go? Okay, no, perfect. Other than that, from myself and the Giz.
Cross the river of fire, forged by innocent blood. I summon you forth, the spawn of Lucifer, the red right hand of doom, the seed of destruction, and Here. On a gathering storm comes a tall, handsome man with a long neck.
Cold and his red right hand. Bump. What's going on?
For frack's sake, I was trying to summon Hellboy, the seed of destruction, not a seed of destruction.
Which Hellboy?
David Harbour, of course, he's more fun.
Oh yeah, that makes sense, I suppose. Actually, that raises an interesting question. Join myself on the Giz this Sunday, 8:30 p.m. CST, and whatever that equates to as GMT is only on American Horrors, where we're going to be discussing what the f*** is everybody's problem with the new Hellboy in a brand new episode.